Good morning. Welcome back to St. Peter's Lutheran Church. My name is Sean Barrett. I'm the pastor here. Glad you're able to join us. We will be back doing online only worship through at least September 13th. And so we'll have a song with Lucy following the sermon this morning. Before I start this morning, I just want to thank you all for your prayers and for so many of you have checked in on us with phone calls and text messages. Even had several of you drop off food and supplies on the porch, and it's deeply appreciated. I'm blessed to serve in a congregation as wonderful as St. Peter's. As I think about this morning, I'm reminded of a beloved saint at St. Peter's, Ray Barger. And Ray and I have much different backgrounds. Ray grew up at St. Peter's and has worshiped there his entire life. He has continued to worship there, and he's a few years older than I am, but we do share at least one thing in common with regard to sermons. Ray likes the sermon to be short and sweet, and with how I'm feeling this morning, I am happy to oblige. So here we go. The gospel for this morning is from Matthew. From that time on, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and undergo great suffering at the hands of the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed, and on the third day be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "God forbid it, Lord! This must never happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things." Then Jesus told his disciples, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it. Those who lose their life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit them if they gain the whole world, but forfeit their life? Or what will they give in return for their life? For the Son of Man is to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay everyone for what has been done. Truly I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming into his kingdom." You'll remember with me last week was part one of a two-part sermon. Last week Jesus asked the disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And John the Baptist, Elijah, Jeremiah, one of the prophets. And then he says, "But who do you all think that I am? Who do you all say that I am?" And Peter says, "You are the Son of the living God, the Messiah." And you remember with me that Peter is blessed not because he guessed the answer right, not because he was smart enough to figure this out. He's blessed because it was revealed to him by the Father. And you and I, if we believe Jesus is the Son of God, the Messiah, that comes from God. That's not something we figure out. That's evidence of God's work in your life. Now, Peter was just having a moment in glory last week, and then Jesus begins to explain what does it mean to be the Messiah, the Son of God, and it's nothing like Peter expected. Peter tries to stop Jesus and says, "This is not how we're going to do this." And Jesus rebukes him. The Son of Man must suffer. He will die, and he will be raised. That is the course of action set. Discipleship is not an easy path. Last week we talked about giving a bold proclamation of your faith. To share boldly that Jesus is the Son of God, that he was sent for us. But it doesn't mean it's easy. We are surrounded by images on TV, on YouTube, in books, preachers who proclaim that the life of discipleship is easy. Name it and claim it. All of things, everything can be yours. You can live in comfort if you just follow Jesus closely enough. The opposite seems to be working in this morning's text, doesn't it? Jesus guarantees that following him is going to be difficult. Following Jesus is really too much for any one person. So how do we do that? Well, one, we have other disciples who are with us to encourage us, to help us along the way. And I know that these online sermons get many more views than my in-person sermons do, and there's a variety of reasons for that. Some of you may be homebound. Some of you may be involved in other congregations. But I know there's a good amount also that just doesn't normally go to worship anywhere. And so maybe this time apart is a good time for you to reflect on your need of the gift of other disciples in your life. The other thing we have is Jesus himself. Jesus is not afraid of going to that cross and dying for us. He does it willingly. He rises again and shares that life with us. There's nothing you're going through in your life right now that is going to scare away God. God's love for you is faithful. Jesus has promised to never leave or forsake us, no matter what. There's nothing you're experiencing that our Lord has not experienced something worse. The life of discipleship is not easy. The life of discipleship is too hard for any of us to do by ourselves. But the life of discipleship is worth it. And in our suffering, in our trials, we also realize that God is walking with us. God gives us strength for each day, and God continues to hold us in God's arms as children of God.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, I still will follow. Though none go with me, I still will follow. Though none go with me, I still will follow. No turning back, no turning back. My cross I'll carry.